54 teams wanted to make it into the finals of the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup respectively, but only 16 spots were available within those competitions. Africa, how are you doing? Today we're talking about the teams that have already made it into the group stages. That means that they have booked their spots in this year's edition of the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup. If you can't relate because your team is not represented, worry not, because one thing that you can relate to is definitely Fut-Afrique. This is the only show that allows you to discover the African continent through its football. And as I've mentioned, today we're talking about CAF's most prestigious inter-club competitions. We'll also talk about the COSAFA Women's Championship, where South Africa is hoping to reign supreme, possibly for another time, but so much is on the line. We also have that trivia question lined up just for you. Well, first things first, let's get the show on the road for answering last week's trivia question. Yes, I am sitting alone in studio today because Brian Mofokeng has decided to beat the airport traffic. He's out in Durban because the MTN8 final is taking place in South Africa yet again. And it's a final where we've seen before. Brian?
It is indeed. Mamelodi Sundowns against Orlando Pirates. All the people are saying Masanda Wana because they're just breaking all the records. But some are saying Pirates, a wounded, limping Pirates, will be very dangerous. So that's the reason why I'm in Durban too. I'm enjoying the beautiful summer weather. You know, it's nice here. Shorts, flip-flops.
I really love it for you. Joburg is also really, really warm. In fact, I love South Africa's summer weather. I don't know people who say that they like winter, because this is exactly the type of weather that I've signed up for. We can have this the whole year.
I look forward to going to the beach for that reason. But other than that, I love winter.
Well, let's get down to business and talk all things football by answering last week's trivia question. Last week, we asked a very simple question. Prior to the year 2022, how many teams made up the WAFCON?
We actually had 8 teams who played in a WAFCON tournament, if you remember, from 1991 to 1995, home and away. Then 1998 or 2018, that's when you had 8 teams. Then from 2022 onwards, you got 12. So 8 was the answer.
8 was the answer. Then we had 12 in 2022. We're hoping that the number will expand. Obviously, Brian, I think, what's the most number of teams that we would like to see within an WAFCON?
I would love to see us get to the same level as the men's tournament, 24.
Yeah.
Then I think we'll be very happy to actually have 24, because it will give exposure to more nations to play competitive football at that level.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we wait and see as to until when will the women's game be expanded and how many more teams will be added into the setup of the WAFCON. That's the trivia questions answer from last week. Thank you so much for interacting with us. But let's keep the conversation going on social media. We have another one lined up just for you, and we're still asking you about the WAFCON. How many host nations have lost in a WAFCON final?
It's a very interesting one, because if you remember now, Morocco were the one that lost at home.
Yes.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
But there's the number is there. There's not a lot, but it's something that you're going to have to really think back from the beginning, from 1995 to now, from 1998 rather to now, to be able to get the numbers.
Alrighty, I'll say that again. How many host nations have lost in a WAFCON final? Hashtag Fut-Afrique is the only way to interact with us, and also make sure that you do follow us on social media. We're also on YouTube. It is Fut-Afrique. Give us a follow there and let everyone know to subscribe to our channel. Let's get down to business, Brian. The 60th edition of the CAF Champions League awaits. First we had 54, now we have 16. Not everyone is included. Only the best of the best have made it into the prestigious inter-club competition.
The usual suspects are there. We spoke about Wydad last, saying, you know what? Are they going to be able to come back and be able to win their game? They were up against a team from Guinea, Haifa. You were saying maybe Haifa might just have won over them, but
they were really
it was never going to happen. Wydad managed to wrap up things. They did very well, winning their home leg. Al Ali also doing well. They won against St. George, and they won again to make it 7-0 in total. But there were some shocks. Listen, we spoke about it here on the show last week to say Morena Ramurebe does have a very good record against the Buccaneers.
Listen, he is, I think whenever Orlando Pirates sees him on the bench, they should know that that's a game lost.
It is indeed. If you look at the way they performed, Pirates came into the game, after having lost their away leg by 1-0, had to fight back to win their leg. They managed to find the back of the net. They won the game 1-0. Then it went to penalties. And penalties are always going to be very cagey.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people really felt so bad for the young man that is Mufokeng, who missed that penalty, the only penalty missed by Pirates, by the way, while the away team scored all their penalties for them to book their place in the group stages. Pirates been knocked out. Only Sundowns remains from a South African point of view in a CAF Champions League because they won their game. They wrapped things up in Pretoria when they won by 2-0. 6-0 the final score for Sundowns. But I mean, you got to talk about what that does for a team. Now, Pirates have now gone 4 matches without recording a victory because if you look at the fact that they won the game 1-0, but they lost it on penalties, so it means in the 4 matches that they played ahead of the final that we'll be looking forward to this evening, is that they just need to change certain things.
And it's very daunting, right, for Orlando Pirates because they were on this trajectory where it was a good run for them and then all of a sudden they hit a dip. So as you say, the MTN8 is going to be a very cagey affair, but they walk into this one with their heads down because already so much batting and bruising has been taking place over there. I need to say though, Brian, don't worry if I get into winning season. I met Rolani Mokoena this past week. Let me tell you.
Are you going to be breaking records?
Listen, what a gent. What a gent. Let's talk about the teams that we were expecting to see there. TP Mazembe booking their spot. I know, obviously, from DR Congo, they're the ones that we're just like, they are the pride of DR Congo.
We spoke about it and I said, you know, TP Mazembe have not been doing that well, but finally they do come back and get themselves on the way. Simba SC almost been knocked out, but they literally survived by the away goal rule. That's how they booked their place in the next round. So, you know, I've seen a lot of these usual suspects coming through into the next round, and most of those are the teams that are playing in the AFL, the African Football League. So it is good to see that they're not really shifting their focus on the AFL. They're still prioritizing the CAF Champions League, which is very good because in the group stages, you want to have the best of the best in the group stages.
Talking about the AFL as we wrap up this part of the conversation, let's talk about how the AFL has potential of messing up the scheduling of specific leagues within Africa.
That's a very, you know, it's a debate that we're having in South Africa at the moment because some people are saying the PSL should allow Sundowns to play and really postpone their matches. And the PSL is saying, by the time we set up the fixtures for the season and we made adjustment after the CAF Champions League, the AFL fixtures were not out. So therefore, we cannot adjust any further because it means we have to extend the league by 3 more weeks, which is going to be a problem. Already have we have the Afcon coming up in January. So the congestion is absolutely crazy. So as to what will give eventually, we'll find out.
Well, we'll have to wait and see as to how the associations come together, go back to the drawing board and also make way for the African Football League. Will it happen? Will teams pull out? What exactly is going to play out on the African continent when it comes to this new league that's being introduced to African football?